Hello and welcome to the Papare show. Today we're here at Mr. Tikiri Marambe's house, Group Captain Tikiri Marambe's house, with Sankha handling the interview. Mr. Tikiri Marambe needs no introduction. He was a former Trinity Lion who served his alma mater with the highest distinction, and then went on to play for the Defence Services. He was in the Air Force. He played for CRNFC and was a chairman of the National Selection Committee for 4 years, which ran for 4 years. The chairman of the Suguddasa Stadium for 4 years. He also was a national captain, wore the jersey for Sri Lanka and captained the country with pride. And now he's currently called back to serve the National Selection Committee under Ajit Aberatna. Sankha.
Mr. Marambe, what do you see as the difference when you played in your days, back in the days, and now in rugby?
Well, I think currently there's a big difference because those days we had the run and pass game, but now there's a lot of power and pace. So basically in the good old days, that is from 1974 up to about 86, 87, we were having a lot of run and pass games, but now it has changed. You can see even at international level, you need a lot of size. Physically, you have to be big man, and then you have to get into a situation where you are very strong and you need a lot of power. So that's how the game is, and it has changed a lot. And because
you say that there's a drastic change when comparing to the days which you played.
Yeah, there's a big change because I think basically the size counts a lot. And if you're not big enough for this game, now you're completely out of it. So fundamentally, I think you have to go in for size. Then after that, only the technique, everything comes in.
And as a rugby player, having a big career as a player, who would you rate as the best opposite number you played against?
Yeah, I think out of the scrummers, I played against players like Hamsin Samad, then Sandy Hamid, C.P. Abegunodana, and a couple of players. But for me, I think the best player is undoubtedly Hamsin Samad. He was a tremendous player. He had a very short career, but he can tilt the game in any way. And I can remember in the Asian in 1974, he was the man of the tournament. He was extremely a very dynamic player, and I think he was about one of the best players.
And in the current season, do you see anyone who can match his displays as a player?
Well, I think the game has changed so much now. After him, there was players like Sudhal Sampa and a couple of other players who have come up. But Trinity also has a very good scrum half in Hamid. And yeah, I think the only thing his problem is size. But apart from that, he reads the game very well. And I rate him as a top class player.
And but as an ex-Trinitian, what do you see in the Trinity side this year?
Well, I think Trinity has about 8 colorsmen this year. They have a very good wing three-quarter. I think he's supposed to be captaining. He's nursing an injury, I believe. But they have a very good all-round team, and I believe they will do well this season.
And with the new rules coming into play, there have been a lot of changes, and basically they've introduced more of a run and pass game, and they've brought in a lot of short arm penalties. How do you think that will affect the schools and club rugby scene?
Well, I think this season the much look forward to is the schools season, and I'm very sad to hear that there was some problem and they had to cancel the schools tournament. But nevertheless, I think they should somehow make it a point to see that the tournament is functioning, and the schools tournament will be the most eye-catching apart from the club rugby tournament.
And are there any favourites you have for this season in schools rugby?
Well, I think from what I can read and hear, Isipatana is supposed to be having a very good team. Then St. Thomas's, they have a couple of 2-3 good players. Then St. Peter's and Trinity, and of course Dharma, that should be cannot eliminate them. But overall, I think it will be Kingswood, Trinity, and Isipatana.
Moving on, sir, with your involvement with the national team and as a selector and as the captain of the national team, what do you see the difference between the difference in the national team, the pride which you have played with in your time and now?
Well, basically during our period we had the Asian every other year, and there was a lot of competition for our places, unlike now. And now in the current situation is that there are so many games where you have every individual more or less has an opportunity of playing in Sri Lanka. But during our period, it was like every other year. So, and it was a great pride to play for Sri Lanka. And even I must bring you an example where Izwan Oma, being a top class wing forward, he just could not wear Sri Lanka jersey. So that shows how much of talent there is that time, and now there's a big difference.
Is there a difference between the pride that you all played with at that time and now?
Yeah, I mean, for me, of course, when I was playing for Trinity, my biggest ambition was to play for CRFC and then for Sri Lanka, because during that time there were players in the caliber of Sari Silva, Ajioma, then Jagat Fernando, Didicus Diarmeda, and they were real class quality people. But so I mean, it was a great pride to play along with them. Yeah.
And in your playing days, going back to your playing days, who would you tag? You played many a Bradby. Who would you tag? What match would you tag as the most memorable?
Then of course the match where we played in Kandy when we were down almost 8-0, and we came back that time. Jagat Fernando was captaining and Sam Sambrasekara for Trinity. We came back and we beat them 16-11 or something at this final scores.
And with the national selection committee, so there's been huge amount of problems. Sri Lanka has gone, the crisis has deepened and deepened. What do you think the start of this problem is, and where do you think the solution lies?
Well, I think there were a lot of situations where the selection committee was not pleased and they came back, they resigned, they came back again, so like that. But I'm sure this time Minister has appointed a new selection committee under Ajita Veratna. So we will make sure that everything is stabilized, and we will ensure that the proper justice is done. We are hoping to witness as many games as possible and select the best, and I'm sure that we will select the best for Sri Lanka.
And as an ex-rugby player, what do you see how do you see Sri Lankan rugby going forward? Is it going forward or?
No, I mean what I see is in Sri Lanka there's a lot of talent. In Kandy alone there's Kingswood, Dharmaraj, Trinity, St. Anthony's, and abundance of talent, and even in Colombo. So it's a matter of someone getting down and sorting things out. And I'm sure Sri Lanka will be in the map very soon.
And is there any message you can give to young ruggedites out there?
Well, what I say is that the young players, they should ensure that they give off their best to the country. And I think this trend of revolting against the selectors should stop. And whoever who is best should play for Sri Lanka.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay.